In one single half of football, Japan didn't just beat Spain. They sent Germany, four-time World Cup champions, home. At the same time, in the same stadium complex, on the same night. Because in football, the team nobody fears is sometimes the most dangerous team on the pitch. And right now, Japan, the Samurai Blue, are quietly lining up to do something this country has never seen before. Japan's current crop of players is arguably the most talented in the national team's history. And yet, if you walked up to the average American football fan right now and asked them to name a team that could genuinely shock the world in 2026, they'd say France, they'd say Brazil, maybe England, maybe Argentina. Japan probably wouldn't make the list. That is exactly why this video exists. Because in football, the team nobody fears is sometimes the most dangerous team on the pitch. And right now, Japan, the Samurai Blue, are quietly lining up to do something this country has never seen before. Let's go back 4 years. Because to understand why Japan terrifies me for 2026, you need to understand what they already did. Germany walked into the 2022 World Cup as a team that had won the whole thing just 8 years earlier. 4 World Cup trophies in their cabinet, a squad full of Premier League and Bundesliga talent. Japan? A 75-1 outsider. Nobody gave them a prayer. The world will never forget those iconic 3 minutes where both Spain and Germany were simultaneously set to crash out in the group stage. Japan came from behind to beat Germany 2-1. Then they did it again against Spain, the same Spain who had just beaten Costa Rica 7-0. Japan defied the odds to finish above Spain's, Germany, and Costa Rica at the top of their group. Think about what that means for a second. You're in what was called the group of death. You have 2 former World Cup winners in your group, and you finish first. Both of those victories came through second-half comebacks driven by tactical adjustments and relentless pressing. Announcing Japan as a squad, capable of beating anyone on any given day. They eventually lost on penalties to eventual bronze medalists Croatia in the round of 16, which, yes, stings, but nobody talks about how close they were. 1 penalty kick away from a quarter-final. 1 kick away from potentially making football history. The question going into 2026 isn't whether Japan can do it. They already proved they can. The question is, can they go further? Here's what makes Japan even scarier in 2026 than they were 4 years ago. The 2026 squad is the most European-based in Japanese football history, with over 15 players contracted to clubs in the Bundesliga, Premier League, La Liga, and Serie A. That matters more than people realize. These aren't players training in lower leagues and flying in for a tournament. These are players competing against Champions League opponents every single week. Wataru Endo, Liverpool's defensive midfielder. Ao Tanaka, now at Leeds United. Daichi Kamada at Crystal Palace. The Samurai Blue have talent throughout the side, and somehow feel more than the sum of their parts. And then there's Takefusa Kubo, 24 years old, playing for Real Sociedad in La Liga. He's had a fantastic season, tormenting the best defenses in La Liga, and helping his side lift the Copa del Rey. Kubo is the kind of player who makes defenders look slow. The kind of player who makes casual fans lean forward and say, "Wait, who is that?" Now, there is one major blow. Star winger Kaoru Mitoma suffered a hamstring injury while playing for Brighton and was left out of the squad. Mitoma was one of the most electric wingers at the 2022 tournament. His absence is real. It hurts. But here's what's fascinating. Observers of Asian football say this squad is still better than 2022. Even without the injured Kaoru Mitoma. When pundits are saying your backup plan is better than your last tournament squad, that tells you something. If you're enjoying this breakdown, hit like and subscribe. Because the World Cup stories we're about to tell you will make you fall in love with this tournament. New video every time the Usman plays. One of the things that makes Japan so dangerous isn't just the players. It's the way they play. The pressing system built under manager Hajime Moriyasu is among the most disciplined in international football. The team's pressing traps are overwhelming, its transitions rapid, and its shape is almost impossible to disorganize. Here's what that means for casual fans. Imagine a team that turns defense into attack in under 3 seconds every time. That's Japan. The moment they win the ball back, they're already sprinting forward. By the time your brain registers the turnover, they're already at your box. Over the past 7 months, the Japanese have recorded first ever victories, albeit in friendlies, over Brazil and England. Read that again. Japan beat Brazil. Japan beat England for the first time ever, both in the same 7-month window heading into this tournament. These aren't accidents. They're not lucky results. They're the output of a team that has been meticulously engineered to beat the world's best. And yet, 100-to-1 odds to win the World Cup. Japan find themselves firmly within the dark horse category, priced alongside Morocco, Croatia, and Switzerland. In what world do you beat Germany, Spain, Brazil, and England, and still get 100-to-1 odds, in a world where nobody's paying attention? Alright, let's be honest. Because this is a real conversation, not a hype video. Japan has never gone past the round of 16. Not once. In 7 World Cup appearances, every single time they've reached the knockout stage, they've been eliminated. That's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. And patterns mean something. Although Japan's high-profile scalps at the 2022 World Cup were exhilarating, they were hardly convincing. They also came either side of a shock 1-0 defeat to Costa Rica, the same Costa Rica who had just been thrashed 7-0 by Spain. That Costa Rica loss is the uncomfortable truth. Against a team where they looked the outright favorites, Japan fell to a shock 1-0 loss, generating barely any real quality in front of goal the entire match. The most frequent criticism of coach Hajime Moriyasu is a perceived overcautiousness when the stakes are highest. When Japan are the underdog, they play with fire. When they're the favorite, that fire sometimes disappears. That's the question hanging over this team going into 2026. Can they perform on the biggest stage, not just in one giant killing moment, but across 6 or 7 matches consistently? Nobody knows. And that uncertainty is exactly what makes this story so compelling. Japan's group stage fixtures are Netherlands on June 14 in Dallas, Tunisia on June 20 in Monterrey, and Sweden on June 25 in Dallas. Let's be real. The Netherlands are a tough opener. They have European pedigree, physical defenders, and players from the top clubs in Europe. But Japan beat Germany. They beat Spain. They beat Brazil. The Netherlands should not be considered an automatic win for anyone. Tunisia and Sweden are teams Japan should be targeting for points. And with their squad depth and tactical discipline, both are winnable. Statistical models put Japan's probability of qualifying from their group above 70%, and they head into this tournament with a renewed sense of belief and motivation to finally break their round of 16 curse. Here's the thing about 2026 specifically. The World Cup expanded to 48 teams this year. More groups, slightly more pathways, and it's being played on American soil. In front of American crowds who might not know Japan's history yet, but who will absolutely recognize hunger and fight when they see it. If Japan makes the quarterfinals, you're going to want to have known this before it happened. Hit subscribe. We're covering every giant killing story this World Cup has. Here's the thing about a dark horse. A real dark horse isn't just a team that could maybe pull off a surprise. A real dark horse is a team with a proven blueprint to beat elite opposition that the world has simply chosen to forget about. Japan beat the defending champions of Spain. They eliminated Germany. They defeated Brazil for the first time in their history. They beat England. All of that happened. All of it is on record. They were the first team, outside the hosts, to qualify for the 2026 World Cup. That's not the behavior of a team happy just to be here. Qatar was not luck. This is a team that knows exactly how it wins. And right now, while the world points its cameras at Mbappe's ankle, and Vinicius Jr.'s form, and whatever England's latest crisis is, a team in the Pacific is, quietly, methodically, loading a bullet into a chamber. The dark horse isn't a mystery team you've never heard of. The dark horse is Japan, and they have already shown you what they're capable of. The only question is whether you were watching. Football doesn't reward the team with the most hype. It rewards the team with the best plan. And right now, Japan might have the most dangerous plan nobody's discussing. So here's what I want to know. Do you think Japan can finally break the curse and reach a World Cup quarterfinal for the first time in their history? Or does the round of 16 wall hold one more time? Drop your prediction below. I'll be pinning the best takes. Because we just told you about a team that beat Germany, beat Spain, beat Brazil, and beat England, and is still being ignored. If that doesn't make you want to watch their first game, I don't know what will. Subscribe. We'll be here for every World Cup story that matters.